Hi, Alex Tolstoy. All right, so now
Mute it and good. And
Good.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we got going. Welcome to the Wednesday, February 5th meeting of the Waterbury Development Review Board. My name is Dave Frothingham. I'm the chair of the board. Before we get into our agenda this evening, I'm going to go over how each hearing is going to be structured. We have 6 members of our 7-member board here. So any application to be approved needs 4 votes in the affirmative. If you wish to continue your hearing in hopes that there are more members here at your next meeting, that is your right, you may do so. I understand that on our second application, Bud will be recusing himself as he works on the project. So that means we'll have 5. You still need 4 votes in the affirmative for an approval. Each item on the agenda will be announced. I'll ask the applicants and their consultants to come up to the table. I'll have them introduce themselves. I'll also ask if there are members of the public who wish to speak in that project. I'll then swear everybody in. We will go through some housekeeping items for each application, and then I'll turn the floor over to the applicant to present their project. Once the applicant is done, I'll go around the table and board members will make comment and ask questions in turn. The applicant is expected to answer the questions at that time. Once the board has made all their comments, town staff will be given an opportunity to make any comments or ask any questions, and I'll open up to the board as a whole for any follow-up questions. At that time, when the board is complete, then I'll open it up to the public to ask any questions. I ask that you come up. The meeting is being recorded, so please state your name and your association with the project, whether you're in a butter or just an interested party, etc. Again, please direct your questions to the board, and then we will direct the applicant to answer. If at that point there are no more questions or comments, the board will either continue the application if we feel we need more information, or we will close the hearing and we may go into a deliberative session to discuss the project, or we may vote on it at that time. It is up to us. Our deliberative sessions are private. At that point, we'll ask everybody to leave, but that will be done at the end of the hearing, at the end of the evening, after we've heard all the applications. Any questions? All right, first item on the agenda, application 088-24, Rick and Karen Weston, 32 Union Street in the mixed-use special flood hazard area. Project is to elevate their existing house and add an addition. It's a site plan review and special flood hazard area review. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourselves.
Weston, this is Rick Weston. I'm a consultant.
Any members of the public to be heard on this application? Seeing none, we don't have anybody online.
No.
Please raise your right hand. You swear the evidence you shall give to this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. I have seen that we have your that's wrong. Your butter letters and your sample notification, your sample letter here.
Here are, I photocopied.
Yep. Yeah, we've got them here in the file. Any zoning related issues discussed with this project?
Nope, it's pretty straightforward. They're looking to raise their house and add a small addition.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. My wife and I moved to Union Street in 1990. We've been there ever since, 34 years. Our kids went to school here in Waterbury and in Harwood. And as you know, our house has been flooded 4 times, beginning in 2011. We don't want to leave Union Street. We don't want to leave Waterbury. We're proposing to raise the house 4 feet and fill in half of the cellar. When I say basement, when I say fill in half of it, I mean horizontally, not vertically in half. And thus raise what would be the floor of that new storage slash garage area to match grade at the lowest corner of the house, the lowest point of the house, where our driveway meets the house. We would then be able to have a one-car parking area underneath and the storage area that would be floodable and flood resilient, therefore. In raising it 4 feet, we would extend the sides of the foundation 4 feet, according to the same contour they currently show, and that would be in concrete. You just plop the house back down, and that would be it for the raising. We're then proposing, as a second part of the project, to add 2 rooms and a small bathroom back in the house. As I said, we don't want to leave Waterbury. We love it here. We want to stay in this house for the rest of our lives, and so we would add a room that we can use for an additional bedroom if needed, bathroom, and a space. I've got a woodworking cabinet I could recreate the second room. And that's really about it. We regard this as we very much want to stay here. We love the town. We want to recommit to it. We want to make it more flood resilient. And this is how we want to go about it. I hope our letter explains in detail what we're planning and the plans as well, which you'll see were prepared by Joe Green of Joseph Architects here in town.
Thank you. Bud, questions or comments?
Can we run through the plans quickly?
Yep.
Just the,
Which part do you want to do this?
down for,
Yeah. Keep going.
That was the
Right.
plan that was missing.
there.
Yep. Sideways, but
Yeah, so grade around the house, is that gonna stay where it is?
absolutely, we're not changing
So,
any.
so you're gonna have a little bit of a flight of stairs to get up?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll add 8, it'll be about 8 more steps.
Bad for you, you're gonna put the house in worse. I don't have any problems.
I wonder if this was
Probably
Right.
was.
Built in
It's been there a
87.
while, yeah.
Judd Hudson designed it, Peter Alward built it.
Yeah.
We moved in 2 years later, with the second owner.
No.
It's a delightful house, and it is in an awkward place, but give us 4 feet, I think.
Okay, well, I wish you luck. I think it's great that you're staying.
Harry, question?
So is there flood relief vents and
Yes.
things to that effect? And
They're called for, as you,
Okay.
the letter that Mike is now showing is from the state, giving its approval for the project, so long as certain conditions as, including flood vents and so on. We're going to have a garage door, which probably make the vent unnecessary, but yes, you're correct. We will have them. Where they really ought to be will be to the, when you're facing the house, they'll be to the left. Because that's also the lowest point.
Great. I'm glad you didn't raise it 8 feet like that house in Norton.
Yeah. We've seen lots of pictures of it, I've driven by it several times. I'm wondering what they're gonna do with the front door.
Boy,
I assume they're gonna have a porch out there that the queen can wave from.
Can I say one?
Yeah.
Something? So Neil wanted me to point out on this one, that first area where we walk in is really kind of an unfinished area, but you're going to use it kind of as a workshop, right? Yeah.
Well, it's in the back.
Right.
Addition, that will be a workshop.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. He just wanted to make sure that that was just pointed out as that's the reason why the state was fine with it, because it wasn't going to be technically livable. It was just going to be used for that. Okay. Thanks.
It is. Still.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
Was that her? Alex?
Already asked my question.
Dave?
Yeah, but that's mine about the raising of the properties.
No changes.
No, I'm good there. I think we need to make some clarifications in the staff report, but I talk about that.
Yeah, you can do that later. I don't think that's a comment. I echo, but I think it was a great project. Good to see
Well, thank you.
people making our housing stock more resilient. Any comments,
Absolutely.
Mike?
No, I'm all set.
It may be setting a theme for our town.
Well, I hope so. I think, yeah.
I would love to see everything on Market Street, so.
That would be very helpful.
Yes,
South Main Street too.
right, sure.
We had some members of the public enter after we started. Any comments from the public? Right. Other than discussing the staff report, any further questions are coming from the board? Feel we can vote on it now? All right, we'll entertain a conclusion.
On these findings and subject to the conclusions set forth below, the board concludes the proposal by Rick and Karen Wexton to raise their current house and build an addition as presented in application number 88-24 along with supporting materials meets the criteria set forth in sections 301 and 604 of the Waterbury Development Bylaws. On
Any
behalf
additions? Good.
On behalf of the Waterbury Development Review Board, I move to approve application number 88-24 with the following conditions. The applicant shall complete the project with the board's findings and conclusions and the approved plans and exhibits. All exterior lighting shall be downcast and shielded.
You bet.
Applicant shall ensure proper erosion controls are in place.
Yep.
And a certificate of occupancy is required upon project completion.
Because it's in the flood hazard area, they need to submit an elevation certificate.
Yep.
And that will need to include, as a condition of the state letter, confirmation of those flood events and their proper sizing.
Got it.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good luck with the project.
Yeah, thanks. We're meeting with contractors tomorrow.
All right.
Very much appreciate your time and
Thank you.
efficiency. Take care.
Good luck.
Next item on the agenda, application 093-24, Vernon O'Reilly applicant, Gristmill Properties landowner, located at 5430 Waterbury Stowe Road, the Route 100 zoning district. This is the reapproval of the construction of a two-story storage and housing rental building. This project was previously approved in 2021. This is a change of use and a site plan review. Change of use is not change of use. No. Just site plan review.
You can, so that's what Bob was looking for. He
Oh,
sent
was
me a
he?
message. He said, just put it on the floor and I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Please introduce yourselves to the record.
Brandon.
And members of the public to be heard on this application. Remind you, if you want to speak to this application, I do need to swear you in. Okay. Please raise your right hands. Do you swear that the evidence you shall give to this board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you all. I believe we have your butter notifications here. Mike, any zoning related notes?
This project was originally approved before Neil and I were both working here, believe it or not. And we both looked through it and didn't see any questions. There was one question somebody brought up about a wetland permit. I was able to confirm that a wetland permit isn't required, and I have that letter from the engineer that I attached.
I don't think any of, Dave and I are the only two board, you were here for this original approval? So this is part of a previously approved PUD. So the setbacks for this project would be different than the rest of this district.
Yeah, I guess since some of you weren't here the last time, I'll just briefly kind of explain what's going on. Gristmill Builders has really expanded, their business has really taken off. And Brendan finds that he has the energy mill, which is all offices and such, but he has an outrageous amount of tools and equipment that he can never really know where they're at. So part of the impetus for this was to have a ground floor level, which classifies in Waterbury zoning as a basement. And then 2 levels above, a ground floor level, which would be equipment storage. The second floor level or above that is for tools, racks and such as that, so he can basically inventory and know where his tools are and what he's missing. And then we have 2 small apartments or rentals upstairs. And that was all fine, and then this has gone on and the permit ran out. And since we're going through it again, the only real change to the building is the aesthetic of the building's the same. We've just increased the building depth by 8 feet to allow for a home offices in the apartments, a laundry area. And other than that, the building's exactly as it was approved before.
So the
And the materials-
footprint got bigger by 8 feet.
Yeah, in depth, not in width.
So to the parallel 100 to the north.
Yeah.
Sorry, the site plans are hard to read, so I'm just.
I know it is. So the actual footprint, everything under roof is 4,800.
But everything
Yeah,
it got bigger by 8 feet in one dimension.
yeah, the coverage of the building is 3,528 feet. That part you gotta, I nearly blind, so I'm having trouble. And that's basically it. If you ever go up there or you're going by, the building is going at the end of the parking lot that's already there. And I'm using 4 spaces for the apartments up above, which really only require 2.
Mike, can you go to the site plan, please? See it?
Sorry.
We're all describing it.
On
Site plan,
There's a small one and then there's the overall area for the view.
and what are the overall, yeah.
You want this one, Harry?
No, I think I just.
Oh, you're, no,
Go down.
you might not have the overall. Should.
This is whatever you sent me.
Overall for the developed portion.
Yeah.
Helping me from.
Okay. Yeah.
I have it right here if you want.
This orientation, so it's the building to the north of the existing.
Yeah,
He did send
I
copies.
think we saw this, this was just a couple of years ago.
oh,
It
yeah.
was 20. That lot. We have a parking analysis site-wide, because I know, I seem to recall that there was, some of the spaces in that existing lot were dedicated to the professional office building, and we approved that change of use.
And as the end result of our last meeting, they did, it's all in the drawing. As far as what goes to what, the numbers.
Okay. Again,
Yeah.
those plans we got were really impossible to read, so.
Yeah, the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tally's right here. Sure.
This is site-wide. not-
It goes with this.
Okay.
But there's no structures on the other lots, so obviously.
Right, I just, the staff report that was sent around was actually from
I was sent the wrong one.
the change of use.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And that
It was
reminded me
just-
that there were spaces over here that were dedicated because of the change of use from workshop here to office space.
So there's the list. There's the numbers, I think.
So,
But we're septic for like the existing building and the new building.
Stuff above, stuff above there.
Here,
Right where you're, yeah.
and I see a well,
Yeah,
is
no,
that
this
a
is
new
totally-
well from the new
That's
building?
for two.
Where's the well for the
Okay.
existing building?
Right to your left.
That's what reminded me that some of this
Right
parking lot
down.
was dedicated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a little bit further to the right.
Yeah, I can't-
Right up the corner of the park. Show on the
Yeah.
section, right? Right over here? No, over where, on Dave's point. I don't know if the tree's probably didn't, okay, right in there.
But no utilities here that are
No,
associated with anything.
well.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing's there
It's all
that.
separate.
Self-sufficient on the phone. Our water here is undeveloped.
Okay.
It's no big phone.
Yeah, it's all weather.
Yeah, it's all well. Yeah. This is those big beaver ones you see, 100.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I know we've been asking questions as we go, but Harry, you have any?
Try to follow for me. Looked at it pretty hard in the past.
Yeah, we got two.
I don't recall in the parking lot, is that gonna stay gravel down there? Or is that gonna be paved?
Sure, we'll be around.
Which one?
The lower one down by the back. The one that's there now down by the back.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely staying gravel. I think it's paper to the entrance, like, so it won't come in. So.
Dave, any further questions?
No, I remember this.
Yeah, I also remember it, I think we covered it well.
Agreed. Yeah.
Dave, how are my trees this time? They look better. Thanks.
I asked my questions already. Mike, do you have any follow-up?
no,
At this point, I'll open up to the members of the public. Any questions, please come forward so that the mic can hear you. Introduce yourself.
My name is Steve James. I'm a butter. I've lived at 236 Crusader Road my whole life. And pretty much, the building that's being proposed is like 50 feet on the other side of the stone wall from my backyard. And my question is, in 2021, when it was approved originally, was the wildlife corridor established back then? You guys approved that? And if it had not been established back then, it's now established. Does that play a part in you guys' decision now?
Don't recall that, but
No.
turn it back to you guys.
Tell me about the I know about wildlife corridor, but what you're saying about, is there a certain state, who, I mean, I know they recognize nothing part of the whole Riley thing. Wait, actually, I'm just curious,
establishing wildlife, or was it like Fish and Wildlife? Saying anything in the zone, I don't know what.
The
Well, it's the
state,
Shutesville corridor.
The Shutesville
Yeah,
corridor.
what was
okay,
it? That was-
yeah. And, I mean, shoot, that's,
And
I'm
it
just.
would have been
it's
discussed
far,
during
I mean, like,
the PUD, where this was approved back in. And that was pre-D.R.B. when this.
That was way back there, when you were in the factory.
98.
Fill out.
So this project is as part of the PUD process. It has bigger setback from the property lines, which allows the development to be clustered close together.
Right.
So that's why there are bigger buffers on this one, and there's that whole wetland out front.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Um,
I just know that there's a lot of wildlife that runs past
Yep.
through there, a tremendous amount. I just didn't know if that was going to affect it at all.
Sure.
So is this-
I'm sure everything, I believe me, I feel.
Is this,
But the only good side of it is there's 18 acres that surround the town developable acres as part of it. Part of that was because of wetlands, but originally when I went through with Bill Alley too, part of it was to maintain distances and buffers to try and maintain connectivity, which is the whole point of wildlife movements through there. Like, believe me, like, I don't know if you've seen what I've done to save the beaver dam, then the beaver's down there, but I literally spent almost 10 grand designing and building this new buffer because they kept damming my
that's
culvert. Have you seen what I did there? So they dammed the culvert, they flood the road, Fish and Wildlife came, or the Department of Transportation got the approval that they could trap the beavers, but they gotta get a permit for approval from me. I was like, we're not trapping the beavers, like plugging the culvert and flooding my driveway. I built this like, this thing,
and to
beaver
Beaver grate.
retention thing, the beaver grates type thing, they dammed it. So now when it floods, it actually floods over it and keeps the whole wetland preserved. So,
So is this going to be 3 stories now? What's
No,
that?
it's stuck into the back.
that bottom walkout though is.
Yeah, well, it's basically 3 stories.
It's like, just like the energy.
Rear is loaded, the rear is basically 1 story.
What's the peak at?
Here, so
45 feet?
Like, no, it's like 5 or 6 feet over the allowed. Is that okay?
What's the peak going to be at?
the whole building,
From where?
the building's allowed to be 30.
From back where you are?
Back where you are,
Or grade level?
it's 2 stories.
I still don't remember.
Tell you.
30 feet 3.
Well, it's, yeah, it's basically exactly 30 feet 5 inches by definition. By Waterbury zoning method.
Which is, what's the.
It's allowed to be 35,
It was 5 feet under, what I recall.
more or less.
Mike, you wanna add something? You put your hand up.
Maybe just to help, Mike Bard, Waterbury Center, I'm also the selectman. This corridor was created prior to their 2021, but it didn't have any prescriptive restrictions for landowners. You know, it was more an advisory issue, you know, that yes, people who were concerned about wildlife, but I don't think it totally restricted anything within zoning and planning issues, so.
Have they added it to it? Is there like, is there something about it, or I'm just curious, or? Oh, that whole zone.
It's recognized, it goes east-west versus.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just wondering, like, where.
Oh, it's all-
You guys know where the limit-
Pretty much all the way down to the center.
Right.
Oh, from Waterbury
And then
Center.
it goes
To the Stowe.
past the Stowe line. It's that connected corridor between the Worcesters and the state
Going up
land.
the water one, just
The
south of
reservoir
there.
drainage, so that whole base.
one of the major east-west corridors in this area of the state.
But there's nothing really prescriptive that restricts the landowner from doing something, you know, there's some advisory issues.
But its impact would be considered, especially with subdivision.
Right, exactly.
I saw somebody else had their hand up. Did I swear you in earlier?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Hi, I'm Amy Marshall Garding here as a resident, but also have yeah. So I just had some personally. So, so it was published not within the 15-day, it was published on the 31st of January. Is that your understanding?
I don't know. I don't publish the hearing.
Who does?
Town staff.
Is there anyone here that does?
The agenda was properly warned, Amy. We already talked about this earlier.
What day was it posted?
I'm not answering these questions tonight. You can talk to me privately. You can speak to me another time.
Another procedural. But I recognize your tricky part for me is having to sit through the hearing part without testimony part. I'm just curious, what's the common practice here?
This is the common practice, but it's a member of the board, but he's not a voting
Joe
member
Green
for
was
this.
also a member. That's how we handled it with Joe. It's always.
So there's only the 5 members that are present this evening to vote on this application this evening, but is not here as a 54 member for this application.
Okay, so recusal, so allowing to listen to the.
He's the presenting.
Yeah, I can't do it in another room like that. I could try.
I mean, if we were to go into a deliberative session,
Sure.
he would have to leave
Yeah.
for that portion of it.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. And then I also wanted to ask, so in terms of note taking, is there anyone here doing that tonight?
Minutes are taken.
We have somebody that takes notes afterwards on video.
It's recorded.
And then getting into the, your. What's
Please address the board.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. To his question about what's out there on documentation. The Lister Range Management Unit Long Range Plan was published on September 30th, 2024. And in there, there's several references to the wildlife border, and you were correct in terms of its connectivity and the role it plays. It also is recognized as an ecological area. So my questions here today are relative to, I don't know about Act 250, but so in terms of kind of an overview, has anything happened there? Relative to
It has been sent back in 50. They had some questions, some clarifications they wanted. John Granier's office is working on it. Chris Austin is in charge, and he is in contact with them. So that's where we are now.
So you do not have anything at this point
No.
back in the.
Well, no,
Well, we got the stormwater.
we got stormwater approval, but we're still going to.
Historically, that's our.
And those
biggest-
approvals, we don't require those approvals before we make our decision.
250 decisions. You do not require before you make your decision.
Right, because we have to make our decision in order then to get Act 250.
Understood.
That's kind of what it's state.
That's fair, yeah. So is the application available for the Act 250 information? Because I did not find anything online.
That's, you'll have to contact the district office.
Yeah, you have, it's probably because it's still being processed. They're still asking some questions.
Yeah, no, yeah, as I look through some of that, usually they'll say they're pending or they're in discussion or they're in, and I did not find any application for this.
Again.
Yeah.
The availability of the Act 250 permit, but that has no bearing on this year.
Okay.
It's a, you know how it is, right? You know, I understand.
Sorry,
that.
I'm gonna stop this conversation about Act 250.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, I think you had mentioned earlier about the wetlands permit.
Mhm.
To clarify, I was the one who spoke to Mike about that. I was not asking about wetlands permit, actually, I was asking about wetlands assessment. So when I looked at not these maps that were provided, but the ones from the 2021 Grenier that we provided, the stormwater pond that's there, what I noticed was, the runoff valve for that is, it looks like it's right on top of the buffer zone. So the question is more about an assessment of the functionality, whatever it's supposed to look at here, within that stormwater pond and how it relates to the wetland, class 2 wetland buffer in its zone. And I didn't see any information in prior packet publications at all, relative to an assessment there or validation.
I think the director said it was assessed.
Yeah,
That's what we needed
2022.
to do.
It was done by Brad Wheeler, and basically,
We redelineated
delineated everything.
I have the
Shown
email.
on this
I
plan.
can answer your question. It's an active 50 permit for the whole site, and so every, so many, I think, 2 years, they have to come walk the site, re-permit 5 years, 35 years. And then if you're proposing a building, like we proposed, whenever, few years, 20 or so, I think we have to redelineate, resurvey it, make sure the buffer zone's protected, and Brandon does all his
Yeah, and the blue line.
civil engineering, and he has
By
to.
Brad. That's what.
Yeah, see this right here?
That goes into the.
And when I look at the class 2 wetland regulations, it says that within the proximity, that should be assessed for that, and I do not see any information relative to that assessment. Not to say it's not done, not to say it's in the process, but I haven't seen anything published or warned anywhere for that.
Is that pond built?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
it's. You'd have to ask. I mean, that flows right over towards the people.
If that was built prior to 2000, the
That's
latest
built,
assessment, then
Yeah, it's way back.
the wetland buffers adjust over time.
But yeah, I know it was also in the context of the parking lot question earlier, so relative to this, and its functionality was based on current use. The change is being, or change, but looking at that change, and then when I heard earlier today that perhaps, I think actually it's exactly or most likely will stay as gravel, so that doesn't seem like clear. And if
That
it's
doesn't
not,
have to be clear. It's gravel or paved, it's totally impervious. Like, they're not a different grade of permeability in the site. Basically, a gravel parking lot's looked at like a paved, if it was grass pavers, and it's trying to decrease the amount of permeable or increase the amount of permeable surface, it's a totally different surface, but gravel parking lot, paved parking.
I'll have to take your word for it, I'm not the expert in that arena as much as the clarity or the indecisiveness.
Yeah, no, that was more like
It's
a
irrelevant
monetary clarity.
Our zoning rules don't require that parking lots be paid for.
Yeah, no, it was more about the assessment.
They have a valid delineation. They're proposing to work with them with buffers.
Yeah, I think you've answered all my questions. Thank you.
Hey,
So my name's Charlie Brady, and on this side, you'll see.
What's your,
I live at 247.
so you're in a butter? Okay.
Well, I'm in Butter, but I'm also, yeah, I live on Watkins State.
Yep, so you're one of the,
And also, three, this part of it. So basically, we share the 18 acres, basically conservation. So I guess just to add to the previous discussion, this is something that I think over the years since '98 when I purchased the property from Bill Allen. And then in '98, I think it was in 2004, I bought an additional lot, which was free. But I think that in the development of the whole development of all the lots, so there's one of the things I heard in terms of conservation was that this is a corridor. And the importance was that there's not a lot of places that aren't developed. And it's more the light that causes the problems to the migration of the deers and moose. Obviously, and apparently deer don't care with the lots, but the bear do and the moose do. So it's always been, I think, in the past, that Brendan has done a good job of minimizing the amount of light in the area. So Brendan and I had conversations, probably 2 or 3 years. They've been both. We had talked about storage of additional parking spaces, but I wasn't able. I was out of state the last time. It was 2 years ago when this was proposed. So I wasn't aware until I looked at the information this time about the apartments before. And so I guess my concern in terms of conservation, you know, like if someone's living there at night, obviously they have lights on. Is that going to cause a problem in terms of the flow of wire? One question I did have was in the location. I think this is the most recent development. So I wanted to know, this is building 1 where you are right now, correct? So the new proposed building is going to be over more
20
towards the
feet
north,
down.
20 feet down from you. So that, when I looked at like an
Yeah,
overlay,
this will
the
be
original,
much lower.
this is much lower than being up here. So at first it looked like it was almost laying over, because this is your current mound system here?
Yeah.
So, well, that's building 2. Here's the building 1.
This is the energy.
Yeah, that's the energy, and here's building.
Here's the
that's
building we're going now.
But where was the original septic for building 1? Is it up there?
Yeah.
This is it here?
That's, it's also, this building time.
And this is gonna tie into that one as well? So, you didn't have to expand that had enough capacity inside this, so you
Yeah.
didn't have to add additional septic to that. Even
Can
have to
have that conversation some other time.
this passes as it is, we don't need to know what that's going to be at this time.
They're not,
We're not-
they're only here for that
Okay.
second building.
Yeah.
This application wouldn't approve anything more than the construction.
Okay,
It's a good building there.
yeah, I didn't know if that would.
They would have to come
any
back.
bearing on the future,
Yep.
so they have to come back.
Yep.
And just for your info, the majority of the glass is this way towards Rutland. The only windows on the sides are more or less there, egress windows. Required for the bedrooms.
I recall you're not proposing any additional site lighting.
No, and we're, all the lighting over here is just like bollards. There's no, 20-foot wide lights on that.
Yeah.
Just a walkway lights. And everything else is on the eaves under the building. It's more or less the same materials and what as the energy. Yeah, it's only at a much smaller scale.
I can have the other conversations.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Amy?
Yeah, sorry, follow up, you just sparked for me. I just need clarity. So, you just been talking about a couple different projects. So when I looked at the 2021, I'm seeing square footage different than what's being proposed in
Yes, they
December. So,
proposed the building bigger on one diameter.
well, then, you said 8 feet, but let me give you the numbers that are on the application, my dear. The application say 12 points this.
Yeah,
This square
this,
footage was 2,500 in the original.
this square footage apparently, it's for both of these structures that are, the structure that's
So
existing.
that's where I'm.
That's
getting
where,
confused,
yeah.
but what the
Oh, I was
application
too
is
when I
asking
looked at it.
for
Somehow
versus what
this,
you're looking at.
yeah, well, we needed to determine maximum coverage of everything. And so that was that number, but somehow it got thrown into there.
Well, so, and if you folks could just follow along, look at the 2021 application compared to the 2024 application. Could you, for the record, please clarify what's being looked at? because they're significantly different. Which is, I think, drawing some of the confusion as to what's being reviewed tonight.
Yeah.
At least for me.
This number is about.
And then one has 34 parking spaces, which is what's on the 2024 application.
Yeah.
Versus 3 parking spaces, so if this gets approved as written,
Well, we had to include everything that's there for the other buildings as well.
so I think that's where some of the other questions are coming up.
So basically, when I came the first
Valid
time,
point.
because it's PUD, we need to determine the amount of parking required for the whole thing.
Yes.
And so that's what we came back here, and that's what I put on this drawing.
I've got this one.
It shows you why those three are. Yeah, it is confusing.
I'm not really sure what we're,
Okay. But this permit.
Yeah.
That's the number.
you're looking at, but you want to literally replicate the 2021. That's how it was presented.
I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm looking.
Here we go. There we go. I got it. Oh.
The current one?
Who's my blind exit?
Okay, no, okay, I got it. Yep.
No, this is it.
So,
You want this one.
and that's,
Yeah.
yes,
24.
So the 2024 is, the Charlie's questions, I believe, are relevant. And I think it does start to get into the broader scope of the land plan.
Charlie's question was, if this phase, this previous approved
Yeah,
future
this has
building
nothing to do.
is built, what's the septic system? Right, that was Charlie.
Yes, a little bit of that, and then also the questions around parking was from 8 to 34, so the scales, I'm really honestly very confused about what we're actually looking at.
Okay, so
Yeah, let's
Well,
just review it.
yeah, and he's got the table on the plan that shows the parking correctly.
On this,
Yep, and the next one.
So
And
parking scale.
there is,
how do I rationalize this map? This,
Well, this is the design.
This shows
the
the, this shows the
north
adjacent on the left.
Yeah, so this is the whole site, is the 10 acres. That's 5.
and these are the only parking spots you're talking about. Because when I add them up, are you talking about 34 here?
and above your hand and there.
And that? Okay. And that's relative to the existing building.
No, the stuff down below is not built, doesn't
Existing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You're
This
saying new here,
basically
but
only requires two
I'm looking at
spaces.
this. And I'm
This
trying
drive
to,
through, this is all rock in the site.
Yep.
But none of the buildings.
right. This
This
building.
right here.
North is different
See,
orientation.
it's just oriented different from that.
It's existing.
Yep.
These are future buildings that.
Yep.
Yes, it's the building. Yeah. It's the building that's getting them.
Yep.
It's existing.
And these are.
They're growing. They're cheap, so,
Yeah, these spaces go with this building.
where is it?
It's got the two of them.
This is the inner pond.
Thank you, nothing on that. We're not looking at these then, and that's what is going here.
No, that's, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was another helpful discussion.
Further questions or comments from the public? Further questions or comments from the board? I see we have someone online.
I asked if she had any questions. She did not respond.
At this point, we will.
Was that me?
Information needed.
I have no questions.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. Thanks.
Everyone's about that he thinks deliberative session.
Yep, that's where I was going. Yep. At this point, we will, we're gonna enter a deliberative session for this application. I'm not gonna close the public hearing at this point in case the board decides that they have some further questions for the applicant. Reach out to Mike on tomorrow, find out the outcome of our discussions. Question for the raise. All right. You can, yeah. Actually, you have to stay for, no, we don't need minutes to approve or anything, do we?
Oh, crap. No, I'll have to print them out after.
Okay.
Sorry. Forgot to print them out.
You don't have to.
No, that's fine. All right, I'm gonna shut off the Zoom, right? Okay.
Thank you all for participation.
Those online, I'm gonna be logging off.
Private.